Hi Nancy, it's Jackie in the library here. Sorry, this is a little bit later than I meant to get to you. I'm hoping you found enough resources for your bibliography that was due earlier this week. Um, but if you didn't, hopefully this will be helpful in helping you find more things. If not, just email me. My email's really easy. It's just jray, Jray, at bluecc.edu. But hopefully this is something that, this video is something you can go back to and be reminded of. And if you're ever interested, it's, because I don't know if you want to go into teaching or not, it's just Screencast-O-Matic. It's a free resource. And I just upload the videos to YouTube, and there you go. You can have a whole YouTube channel. So if you ever have a class for your students, this is something that one of those free technologies you can use. So digging into your research on technology and education, I feel like from our conversation earlier that you wanted to focus maybe on the distraction of technology. And I think we should be able to find some things on that. It looks like, and you've probably found this too, there's more of, I think, a lot on technology and its use in the classroom, its use in education versus its distractions. At least that's what I feel like I'm finding. But we can find a little bit of both. There's always, challenges in either case. And, maybe instead of typing in or considering distractions, maybe talking about changing the phrasing to like traditional teaching methods or, teaching methods that involve a lot of hands-on activities that don't use a phone, and how does those teaching strategies support student learning and the advantages of those aspects of whatever that method is for student learning, getting students to do small group work, for example, versus, being on their phones and technology. So emphasizing some of the traditional teaching methods that faculty have tried to use and the benefits of those. Maybe also looking at technology and where it can be used well, but so just those things, all those things to consider. Yes. Scoot my chair here. Okay, so let's get started. So you probably remember how to get to the library homepage, but just in case, you would just go to, I guess I'll just start here at the college homepage. And from here, just, of course, bluecc.edu. You would then click on library. And then as you scroll down, we spent all of our time in our library databases and in our top library databases. And we spent, I remember showing you opposing viewpoints and CQ. We'll just look at those really quickly, like whirlwind tour, because I think they're pretty easy to use. But I just want to remind you. So what you can do with opposing viewpoints is, I kind of call it the breadcrumb database. You might remember me calling it that, because what it does is take you kind of on this, topical level down to what you might be wanting to look at. And what can sometimes be challenging is, where does this topic really lie? Because sometimes, depending on your topic, it could be in a couple different areas. It could be technology as an issue because of technology and education. It could be a society and culture issue. How does this technology and, using technology in the classroom change us? So sometimes it's a little hunt and peck. You can always do a search. I don't always find that as successful, but you can certainly try that. So these are just in alphabetical order. So you might want to think of, even at this point, what are some different things that your topic could be described as? There's education, of course, but there's students' rights and students' grades, interesting, and technology and education. And I see we clicked on this, so we must have we must have looked at this together. So anyway, so they give you an overview of the topic. And as a reminder, they always list a top 3. So if you want to see all, in a sense, 48 viewpoints, you would click there to see all 4. I know you need use of technology in 4th and 8th grade classrooms. You might want to take a look at statistics as well. And of course, your academic journals, which you need for this class. So again, just clicking here. I would look at through all of those, because even if I know you need to have online academic journals for this assignment, looking at those viewpoints, looking at those statistics, I think are things that you might want to include in your paper. So should we limit screen time in school? well, that's actually what your question is. And what's helpful here that I'm seeing is that it helps remind me certainly of all the challenges of how we can talk about this issue. And we talked about that while you were here. We could say technology in education. We can say technology in teaching strategies. We can say screen time. We can say, you know, specific technologies. So it's tough, but let's look at this one here because we're asking that question. So here's a whole article, fairly lengthy. Yeah. You know, you can decide, sorry, scrolling here. You can decide you want it. In fact, I'll just go ahead and email this to you because it might be useful. So I think it was at Nancy or _ Ortiz. I was hoping you'd still be in here at Yahoo. Hopefully this is going to get to you. Might get to another Nancy Ortiz. That's sender email, so that's actually from me. And I'll send it to you in PDF. Send. But so that's, you know, if you want to send it to yourself, I think it's really a good idea to do that, good practice. Again, the citation tools are right here. So this class is using MLA, so you'll want to use the entire thing here, but edit it a little bit. You don't need the URL, definitely there. I always just keep a separate Word document open, and as every source that I might use, even if I don't know if I'm going to use it, I just put it in that Word document so it's sitting there and it's ready for me to, you know, tailor down to what it needs to be at some point. So anyway, that's opposing viewpoints in a nutshell. I think you get the idea. So going back to our library databases, CQ is really similar. I really love CQ. It's again, a topic database, so it's great if you find something on your topic. It's not as great if you don't find something on your topic, and that's where our other databases come into play. You can definitely search by keyword. You can also browse topics, and I knew to browse topics because I knew education was one of our topics. You can look and see, is there anything on? Well, there's certainly something on teaching, students and social life. Might be there. Online education, kind of a challenge. Let's go ahead and let's do students and social life. I'm curious. Some things will come up right away. Oh, internet and technology. That's a short report. Internet and media. None of these are looking that great here for our topic. Let's go back. Maybe teaching. Something would come in here. Teaching critical thinking. That's actually really challenging. Not that this is what you're interested in, but I do want to just show you, should schools do more to foster analytical skills? And that might be interesting in terms of, you know, technology and the role in that specific attribute. So again, I just want to show you how to use this. You might not find anything in this database, though it seems like you should. I almost want to do a keyword search. This database is great because, again, if you find, oh yeah, and Yoshida found some great articles in CQ, so we did cover this. But again, I love the introduction, the overview. It gives some great pros, cons, so wonderful information if you do find something. And again, the citation tools are here. You know, you just make sure to, in this case it defaults to APA. You'll just want to click on MLA, and my little screen here is being uncooperative. But yeah, there we go. You just make sure to do that, edit it down, print, email, all those same tools. If you really want to see, if you want to, you know, try technology. And I know, again, education and teaching and learning, all those words, you have to spell right, which I'm sure you would. Technology and education. But again, you can type in students learning. That's the challenge. There's some digital education. Okay, interesting. That might be something useful. That's from 2011. Arts education, fascinating. So again, you might want to take a look at some of these to see if they're interesting. And this digital education. Can technology replace classroom teachers? Oh my gosh, that's the very question you asked at one point. This might be perfect. Okay, very interesting. I might just go ahead and email this to you. It's going to send you a link, so you're probably going to have to log in to get to this link. Here I am. Nancy _ So we did find something in CQ that might be awesome. Very good. Move my screen down here. Send me a copy, just in case. Okay, there you are. Well, that was fun. It's always fun when we find something, right? Okay, so let's go back to our databases. And so library databases, top library databases. And let's see, how much time do I have here on my video? Oh, I have about 5 more minutes. I might have to send you a second video. Sorry. I try to get this all in one. So our advanced databases, you might remember that I mentioned that these are when you're really kind of at this point. It's not that the information is necessarily any better, it's just different. And so and how they're structured. These tend to get you more into those research articles that are written by those scholars, which is what you need for this paper, right? 5 peer-reviewed sources that are looking at the same subjects that you're looking at. And this is where you can get into that, what we call the scholarly conversation with your queries. And as you learn about it, you learn more about it, you become more proficient in saying, well, what is technology in education? What are some benefits? What are some deficits? And how do you kind of inform that that conversation? So again, the challenging part here is really playing with all those keywords. So technology, and teaching. Again, we could type in cell phones in teaching. We could type in that sort of thing. Teacher education, technology, and teaching and learning. And classroom management, all those things. That's really the top thing here, is working with that. So, interesting. Factors influencing the adoption of e-learning technology and learning. We could limit at this point to high schools too and all that, but always feel comfortable. Just feel free. You own the search box, so play with it, make it your own. In this database, the default is to academic journals. You could always go to magazines, books, news. And you might remember me mentioning you can limit into search results. So if you wanted to focus on high schoolers, you could certainly do that. Again, high schoolers, you can say high school, you can say teenagers, adolescents. You can say all of those at once. You can also say secondary school. So just be mindful of all of that. You can limit as well to, looking at these subject terms. This picture is actually kind of narrow already. It's already down to 280. So that means the subjects that we're directed to will be a little bit lower. So if we want to look, though, at teaching methods, we could certainly do that. It looks like we could also focus on, or is it learning here, which is kind of cool. But if we focus here on teaching methods, wow, that's down to the 15 articles that the database has found met all of these criteria, which is kind of fascinating. If you ever want to take any of those out, you can just take it out here. I'm going to do one quick thing. So teaching and technology. I really could do cell phones, couldn't I? And let's just do teaching and technology, because I want to show you what a big search looks like. Because this might see 114,000 items. So that's great. This is where you might find, okay, let's add high school, let's add students. But this is where you'll see a ton more on teaching methods. Academic achievement. Does this really, impact our learning that way? But the other thing I want to point out to you, I just have a minute, looks like, left in this video. With this free technology, I only get 15 minutes to speak. That's the price of it being free. Is this a topic finder? Yoshira, you might remember, said she really, I don't know if she said Yoshira or Yoshira, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. She really loved this, and you might remember. But this is where you can focus in. So kind of at the center of this wheel is teaching and technology, but this is where it kind of gives us these options to limit down just to teaching methods. So we can limit more broadly to there, and we get 43 that look at teaching and technology and teaching methods. We can narrow down even further and go into, say, learning strategies, and that takes us down to the 7. Or we can, take it back and go just to school, and then we get the 22. We can look at high school specifically, and we're down to the 4 that this database has identified. And and if none of these still seem to be really working for you, again, that's just where we can go back and say teaching. We can almost do teaching or learning, because teaching and learning is different. That requires both being there. But if we're looking at the issue of teaching or learning, look for either of those words, teaching or learning, and again, technology, or I don't know, mobile phones or cell phones. Again, they have to be practiced.